This mini ductor tool here. I just bought this to get some seize bolts I have on a Honda actually, with the rust and everything, to try to heat them up to convert the rust into to burn off the rust that's actually in the bolts, so they'll loosen up because they are seized. I bought this, comes in a kit. It's got some rivets here on the outside of the case. The case is a little flimsy, but it's a case, it's nice. This fits in. It's got some harder foam here, some softer foam up top. And probably one of the biggest, the cord on this is 6 feet long. It's approximately 6 feet long. One of the questions I always had when I was buying this was, what kind of coils does it have and how many? Because it's kind of vague. So looking at the coils here, I have 2 of each. The biggest one here for me is approximately, let's say, an inside diameter of about 1 3/4. In terms of the inside diameter, that's the largest one. There's 2 of each. The second largest, middle one, is 1.5. That's stretching it. I would say it's a little bit less than 1.5 inches. And then the smallest, which are probably the one that gets most frequently used, is they're probably going to claim it's 1 inch. I would say it's more about 7/8. So that's something to consider whenever you use this with whatever nuts and bolts you're going to use it on. There is also one coil. Let me get it out here. Or 2 coils, I should say, since there's 2 of each. I have them kind of interconnected here. They're tangled up. These are ones you can extend and bend on your own, which is useful, meaning that you can take this and you can bend it around something that is larger, say wheel bearings, bushings, etc., etc. Or if you are skilled enough to stick them around a lot of times you use like a ratchet. You can bend it around that, or a certain diameter. You can make your own coils of any size. So these 2 of these are very useful. You can bend them to around anything you want, or make your own coil, custom coil that you can use for whatever you need to use it for. So I have not actually used this one yet. There's no actual rubber on this. This isn't rubber. It's just like a hard plastic. Hard plastic here, hard plastic here, hard plastic here. There's a light on the end. You can hear that there. The light lights up. I'm going to use the small one here, and I'm just going to heat up a bolt. I'm not going to go through the rust and demonstrating that as of right now. I mainly just want to make sure it heats up a bolt in a good amount of time. This is the first time I've used this tool. And go from there. This is not as being a lower priced one. This doesn't have like simple clips. This is more you stick it in the holes, screw it in. Don't want it to be tight, just lock it into place. And just to illustrate it heating up, I have a wheel stud here, and I'm going to try to heat this up and see how long it takes and how hot it gets. As you can see already, it's smoking, so that did not take long at all. I could even use a smaller coil, which I don't have, and it would give me better results. The idea is that you stick it inside of the coil without touching the coil. If you touch the coil, it starts to degrade the fiberglass wrap that encases the coil. So generally you want about a 5mm gap between them. As you can see, that's already glowing red hot. That's plenty hot right there. And that will loosen up just about anything getting it that warm. The idea there is that if you have rust, it is a lead oxide. When you heat it up, it converts back to the metal itself and you can loosen things up. The most ideal circumstance is that if you have a nut on here, you would heat up the nut because the metal would expand, and it would heat up and convert the rust, and it would loosen it up. So you have two things working in your favor there. In my circumstance, I have a bolt that's stuck into a tab, so I'm going to actually heat up the bolt, which is a little counterintuitive from the expansion aspect, but for the rust conversion aspect and breaking apart the rust that's seized on it, it will do excellent and it'll do just fine. Other than that, I believe that is all I have. There are some instructions illustrating how to use it. The max on time is 2 minutes. You do not want to go past 2 minutes or it could possibly overheat the device. And there is a system user manual inside of it as well. But other than that, looking at